G'day everyone, welcome. Shane here again, week 2, mainly to say congratulations on getting started. The overall response from both groups, both of my groups to this class has been outstanding. And I'm really appreciative of that because I know that you guys are going to get so much more out of it if you have that attitude each week. I know it takes time, you've got to organise your time, you've got to be willing to put in the effort. But I believe all of you will benefit greatly if you do that. The other thing is, if you get in early each week with your posts and your activity and your engagement with each other, you're going to have more feedback from each other, because if you wait till Sunday to get online and start doing that week's activity, then if everyone else has been typing away for 5 or 6 days and working away, they might be having a rest and getting ready for week 2. And then come week 2, they may or may not go back and look at week 1 threads. So just a bit of a tip there to try to get in early each week with the activities and give it your best shot. So we've got a few new things this week. I'm just going to open up and show you what we've got. So if you go to your learning materials, we're looking at the history and development of typography this week. So there's some really interesting general introduction here about the history of typefaces and typography. Then the studio, there's 3 fantastic videos, 2 of which are quite short and funny. There's also 3 really great reading materials this week, which go into great detail about the anatomy of typeface. And then we've got the introduction to the design process documentation brief. Now, just a few words about that. The design process documentation is required as a submission with every project. So project 1, 2, 3 and 4 have their own requirements and submission criteria. And the second thing is this design process documentation. Basically, it's a multi-page report or a multi-page document which is your edited interpretation and choices as to what you've done for your design process. And it comes from your WordPress blogs. So all the information you're using for your WordPress blogs, gathering it there, inviting students to come have a look, inviting me to come and have a look. Then you're using that WordPress blog to perhaps make some more decisions. And out of those decisions, you'll be posting specific examples, sketches, mock-ups to discussion board, where everyone else in the group will have a chance to comment. So the design process documentation itself is a template that we offer you, which you are required to use. There's type styles already embedded in the paragraph styles toolbox. There's instructions on how to use it inside the InDesign file. Your job is to open it up, have a play around, and this week to begin to do a quick mock-up of some of your process for project 1. Now obviously you're in the early stages of your design for project 1, word and meaning, but you can still give it a crack and put in some images and think about the headings and think about the stages, how you'll describe what you're doing. It's predominantly, or you should think about it predominantly as a visual document. Images with explanations in text. The text explanations will be suggested by headings, perhaps captions and small paragraphs, but it's not an essay. It's really your job is really to think about, how can I show the key decisions I went through. Edit, select and edit. The other thing we've got is a little task on the anatomy of typography. So if you go to one of the threads, we've got a little demonstration here. Pick a typeface you like, set your name in your typeface that you prefer, and mark on it as many of the typographic elements that you can identify from the typographic anatomy handouts and videos. The second little thread we've got is activity setting up your design process documentation. which basically covers the examples shown in learning materials, describes a little bit on how to use the InDesign template, how to use a grid, how to access the paragraph styles, and there's also a link to my Pinterest page with some examples of really good multi-page document design. Now, although we've given you an existing template to use for this, there's no reason why you can't be inspired by professional work and looking at how people lay out complex documentation, how they use scale, change of scale, contrast, how many columns they use, exactly what they've done. And while you're looking at them, just try to ask yourself, why is what you're looking at successful? What is it about what these people have done, these designers have done, that makes their work successful? The third thing we've got then is a little work in progress for project 1. And it's talking about, or I'm asking you to start to think about thinking, and specifically to use sketching to think. It's very easy with these software programs that we have, which are incredible and should be used. It's very easy to jump onto them too early. The best designers in the world, as far as I can tell, all do this. They don't open software until they've got an idea. They think with a pen or pencil, they sketch, and those stages, that thinking and sketching, comes after research, and it comes after analysis, and it comes after long showers where they're thinking about the problem that they're trying to solve. It comes after looking at inspiration. What happens is, after that input, our brain starts to make connections, and we have to be ready with a pen and paper to capture those connections, those ideas. So please sketch. I'll put up a couple of little articles here, one by a design director called Amy Lamp, another one by a designer called Rafael Tomal. Please have a look at those. They're very brief. It's just following this principle of sketching. My suggestion for the week is this: to do as much work as you can on your word and meaning project, to invite some friends over to your word process blog, to share your process with them, get some specific feedback from them, and then when you're ready, to take some aspects of that, maybe it's a sketch, maybe it's a photograph, maybe it's a couple of little elements that you want to bring together, and present those, post those to this thread, work in progress, for us to give you feedback. So that's it, everyone. It's a fair bit there today, it's a fair bit there this week. I just am so impressed with you all. There's such enthusiasm amongst these groups. It's really heartwarming. And I'm just so excited to guide you all through these processes, and wish you all the best.